Well, good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another live chat with James here at the ProPix TV studios in Vancouver, British Columbia. I do apologize. I have been away for several days. I've been working on several different productions, both for network TV and, of course, major streaming platforms. But I am back, and here I am. Tonight, we are going to look into various headlines and stories, and we're also going to take a look at a very interesting deep dive into the attempted assassination of Donald Trump just over a year ago, and if it really happened at all, or was it just staged? Should Donald Trump be facing charges? And a major independent third party investigation into the alleged assassination attempt on Donald Trump and what happened to the alleged assassin and his family. Donald Trump hasn't made mention of him, which is very odd for somebody who alleges to have been shot in the ear. Even if it's just a graze, it is something that Donald Trump would likely be talking about if it was real. So we'll get into a deep dive just after we touch on all of the news headlines coming to you from across Canada and around the world. But we will start, of course, locally here in Metro Vancouver. Now, tonight we're covering stories of immense pressure on our systems, both at home and abroad. Now, here in Metro Vancouver, a new report has branded the city's housing market impossibly unaffordable. For those of us who live in the Metro Vancouver area, we know how crazy the prices have gotten, as well as the increased cost of living. Now, the impossibly unaffordable housing has been ranked as fourth most expensive in the world. While if we look at other issues that are putting immense pressure, also we are looking at the hospital and medical crisis. Yes, our emergency rooms are hitting a crisis point, with rolling closures again becoming dangerously common. Now, nationally, the federal government is in crisis mode, with Prime Minister holding emergency meetings with premiers to forge a unified response to a new wave of American tariffs that threaten to destabilize the Canadian economy. We'll also be taking a look at an international marking of the 80th anniversary in Japan of the atomic bombing of Hiroshima, amid renewed nuclear threats globally. At the same time, Washington escalates a trade war with India over its purchase of Russian oil and makes a stunning reversal on public health policy, cutting hundreds of millions of dollars in funding for the very vaccine technology that was critical during the COVID pandemic. We're able to bring you these important stories today thanks to the support of our sponsor, Carry Movers Limited. Whether you're moving across town or across the country, you can trust that the family-owned and operated experts who have been serving Western Canada for over 20 years will have your move handled in no time. We'll have more on their services a bit later in the broadcast, but first to our top local story. Now, Metro Vancouver report brings out that the region is at a breaking point. It's a tale of two crises gripping Metro Vancouver tonight, one of affordability and one of accessibility. Now, the dream of living here is becoming impossible for many, and the promise of immediate care in an emergency is becoming uncertain. These are not abstract problems. They are impacting the health, finances, and future of everyone here in the Lower Mainland. Now, when we look at the affordability crisis, a staggering new report from Chapman University has laid bare the reality of our housing market, labeling Vancouver impossibly unaffordable. We are now ranked as the fourth most expensive city in the entire world, behind only Hong Kong, Sydney, and San Jose. The study, which compared median home prices to median incomes, notes that this level of unaffordability simply did not exist 30 years ago. Now, the authors point directly to urban containment strategies, policies that limit urban sprawl in favor of densification as a key driver of skyrocketing prices. The result is a market where homes cost 9 to 15 times the median household income. This isn't just a Vancouver problem. The report finds that these effects are rippling through nearly every urban center in British Columbia. The consequence is predictable. A new analysis shows that the housing crisis is now fueling the largest exodus of people from British Columbia in decades, as middle income households are forced to leave in search of a life where they can actually afford. Now, when it comes to the healthcare crisis, financial pressures mount there as well. So too does the strain on our essential services. Doctors of BC, the province's professional association for physicians, is warning that rolling emergency room closures have hit a crisis point. Dozens of ERs have been forced to temporarily shut down their doors this year, not just in small rural towns, but right here in the lower mainland. Just last night, the Delta Hospital emergency room was closed with little notice after a doctor called in sick, a situation the mayor called unacceptable. Dr. Charlene Liu, the president of Doctors of BC, says the system is beyond strained due to chronic shortages of physicians and nursing staff. This leaves frontline workers facing moral distress, unable to provide the level of care they want to, while patients are forced to travel to other communities for that urgent care. And while the province has committed billions to healthcare, the system remains, in the words of one report, in desperate need of its own lifeline. If that wasn't enough, the region is bracing for some unsettled weather, with Environment Canada forecasting the risk of thunderstorms and gusty winds through tomorrow. Now, navigating the complexities of a move in Metro Vancouver can be stressful enough without worrying about regional issues. That's where Carry Movers Limited comes in. They handle local residential, office, and even delicate piano moves right here in Vancouver and the Fraser Valley. Their experienced crews bring professionalism you can count on. If you are looking to get a quote for a move, you can do that. And you can do it online with no obligation at their website, www.carrymovers.com. That's www.carymovers.com. Now, let's move on to our national report. Yes, a trade war at the border, something that we've been watching closely. And of course, there is a sense of urgency rippling out of Ottawa. The federal government is scrambling to mount a defense against a growing economic threat from our closest ally and largest trading partner. Of course, Mark Carney has chaired a virtual First Ministers meeting, bringing together the country's premiers to coordinate a national response to a new round of punishing trade tariffs threatened by Donald Trump and the United States. Now, this comes as Canada remains one of only two countries to have imposed retaliatory tariffs against Washington in the ongoing trade dispute. Following the meeting, Ontario Premier Doug Ford reiterated his call for a unified Team Canada approach to the crisis. The Minister of Finance, Francois Philippe Champagne, is hinting that Canada may have to change its strategy in the face of escalating pressure. Now, this economic battle is unfolding as the U.S. signals a dramatic shift in environmental policy. The new Trump-appointed head of Environmental Protection Agency, Lee Zeldin, has announced plans to repeal the greenhouse gas endangerment finding, the scientific and legal foundation for America's fight against climate change. Scientists on both sides of the border warn this move may have major consequences, effectively kneecapping efforts to limit emissions from vehicles and power plants. Now, on the domestic front, there's more economic uncertainty as Air Canada flight attendants have voted to approve a strike mandate, raising the possibility of travel disruptions across the country. For families making the big move across Western Canada, financial certainty is everything. Carry Movers Limited is known for their reliable quotes and professional service for long distance moves. They understand the stress of relocation and are dedicated to making it smoother, serving clients for over 20 years. That's peace of mind you can put a price on. See yourself at carrymovers.com. Yes, see for yourself at carrymovers. That's Kary movers.com, where you can get a free quote for your moving needs. Now, let's take a look at anniversaries and escalations. Yes, from a solemn anniversary in Japan to a major policy shakeup in Washington. Our international report tonight is a study in contrast, a look back at the lessons of history and a look forward at the geopolitical and public health battles of tomorrow. Now, in Japan, bells rang out at a sunrise ceremony in Hiroshima's Peace Park to mark 80 years since the United States dropped the first atomic bomb on Nagasaki, killing at least, on the city. Let me restart that one. Yes, it's been 80 years since the United States dropped the first atomic bomb on the city, killing 140,000 people on August the 6th, 1945. 3 days later, a second bomb on Nagasaki killed 70,000 more. The anniversary is a heavy and visceral reminder of the consequences of war, and it comes at a time of renewed nuclear threats on the world stage. Now, as the world reflects on the wars of the past, the White House is opening new fronts in the conflicts of the present. Yes, today Donald Trump signed an executive order imposing an additional 25% tariff on all goods from India, set to take effect in 21 days. The move is a direct response to India's continued importation of Russian oil. New Delhi has dismissed the threats as unjustified, escalating a major trade dispute between the two powers. Meanwhile, in a move that has stunned the global public health community, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has canceled nearly $500 million in federal funding for future mRNA vaccine development. This is the same technology that was central to the rapid development of COVID-19 vaccines. One leading expert called it the most dangerous public health decision ever, warning it leaves the country vulnerable to future pandemics. All of this is happening as the war in Ukraine grinds on. Yes, the U.S. State Department has just approved another $104 million military sale to support Ukraine's M777 howitzers, while Russian forces report advances near the key city of Kupiansk. We are looking at that, and as most of you will be aware, I have spent time in Ukraine covering the front lines and covering the abandoned cities, as well as the atrocities that have been committed by Russian soldiers in Ukraine. Yes, it is time that there is more international pressure put on Vladimir Putin to end this illegal war. As the pressure continues, it is important to understand that although there is spending by India in terms of their purchase of oil reserves and oil and other energy from Russia, of course, they have a very large population and country in which they need to ensure that they have the sufficient supplies. If you're interested in more on that story, by all means, check out the August the 7th report on Satellite TV and the program Perspectives, where Angus Scott and I discuss that in more depth. So again, you can find that on youtube.com/at Satellite TV. Check out Perspectives every Sunday to Thursday on Satellite TV. Now, let's continue covering some more ground as we've got a lot to go on. The pressures facing our cities, the economic strain in our wallets, to a world grappling with conflict and climate fueled catastrophes. It's a reminder of how interconnected we all are and how important it is to stay informed. On a personal note, though, as I was just mentioning about Satellite TV, I also am thrilled to share some exciting news with all of you. I have launched a new show that is a weekly primetime live talk show on Jess FM and Jess TV out of Lethbridge, Alberta. Yes, it is a live call-in show where you can actually call in and speak with me about issues of importance or issues that are of no significance. In any event, that program airs 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time every Thursday evening on JessFM.ca and all other platforms where Jess TV is available, from Roku to Prime and others, or not Prime, sorry, Fire TV. Apple TV, and so many others. So again, check it out at jessfm.ca and you can find out where the show live streams and be a part of it. This week and over the next 3 weeks on the Primetime Live show, I am exploring the current situation in the North American film and television production industry, as well as the streaming production industry. We're talking to industry professionals from various parts of the film, television, and streaming productions, whether it is the Directors Guild of Canada through to the Film Commission in Los Angeles, talking to representatives from Alberta, from the Mountain View Film Office. Again, that episode takes place tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on jessfm.ca or Jess TV on your streaming platforms. We are excited that there are over 50,000 local listeners and viewers in Lethbridge, in addition to hundreds of thousands on streaming platforms live, such as YouTube Live and Facebook Live, in addition, as I said, to other streaming platforms, including Apple TV, Roku, and others. So again, Thursday evenings, 8 p.m. on Jess TV. Join me for Primetime Live. Again, for the next 3 weeks, we're talking about the film industry. So if you work in the film industry, if you supply the film industry with goods or services, or if you're just generally interested in the film and television production industry, by all means, check out the 3-part series starting tomorrow night at 8. Well, actually, now we are after midnight, so later tonight at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Now, Just TV is a fantastic independent platform dedicated to authentic, unfiltered local programming, and I'm honored to be a part of their mission. They have a massive, massive reach. As I said, over 50,000 local listeners, 5 million people worldwide through various streaming streaming and social media platforms and others. So again, check it out. And of course, I'll be continuing my work with my friend and co-host Angus Scott in London, UK on our international program Perspectives, and that airs Monday to Thursdays on Satellite TV. Yes, you can find Satellite TV on YouTube at www.youtube.com/@SatLuj SATLUJ TV. Yes, you can check that out as well, where we bring a Canadian and European viewpoint to issues that are actually vital to the global Sikh community. So check it out. Yes, I am on many different platforms. And as I said at the top of the show today, I have been away working on other drama and comedy series for major networks and streaming platforms. So it keeps me hopping at all different locations and on all different platforms. So I appreciate you taking the time. If you want to interact with the show, you can always leave a voicemail that will air during different episodes, and you can do that via telephone at area code 368, phone number 997-6741, and you can use the same number on WhatsApp to interact with us. Again, 368-997-6741. You can either interact with the show live when we are airing, or you can leave voicemails that we'll visit on the show. If you want to leave us a voicemail on a topic idea or story idea and such, please feel free to do so. We are always open to that, but you can also email me directly at smile@propixcanada.com. That's PROPICS Canada.com. Yes, smile, because we try to bring smiles to everyone. Now, of course, none of this from today's broadcast to my new ventures would be possible once again without our incredible sponsor, Carey Movers Limited, for over 20 years. The family-owned and operated company has been Western Canada's top choice for moving. Whether it's a local residential move or a complex office relocation or even a long-distance journey across provinces, they provide accountability and peace of mind. For a no-obligation quote, please visit them online at www.careymovers.com. That's www.karymovers.com. That is the end of our headlines, but let's take a look at some other things. Let's go into a bit more depth about the new voice for independent media. Yes, my wide-reaching demand for different programs from different stations. Now, in an era defined by media fragmentation and audience diversification, broadcasting is definitely charting a new course, and that includes myself, that's exemplifying the future of the industry. Rather than tethering my brand to a single legacy network, I am pursuing a multi-pronged strategy as a media entrepreneur, launching and co-hosting programs on technology, as well as technologically agile independent platforms. And of course, you also may not be aware, but you should be, that if you go to truecrimeandjusticetv.com, that is a ProPix station. And of course, you will find various original documentaries on true crime and justice from around the world, historical and current events. And once again, I do narrate several of those programs and produce many of them as well. So check it out at truecrimeandjusticetv.com. Now, as I continue to work with these various projects, the new hyperlocal show based out of Lethbridge, Alberta, is definitely one that has that's being broadcast to their established international audience. And that is very exciting, but also not to overlook the importance and significance of the Sikh diaspora in terms of the Perspectives program that I co host with Angus Scott. He is in London in the UK, so we usually record that show. And we do have a goal of going live on that one eventually. But that show is, again, it is on the Sikh station, and really looks at the Sikh diaspora, current events, and historical events. But even for non-Sikhs, you really can learn a lot and get a new perspective from Angus and I on that show that runs Sundays through Thursdays. However, we are on a bit of a 2-week hiatus this week and next. So we'll just have one show each week over this week and next on Satellite. But again, you can always check out all of our previous shows in the archives. And you can also check out our new Satellite TV Substack page as well. And of course, ProPix has a Substack presence as well. So again, just really working out and jumping on the media circuit. And again, if you have topic ideas for any of the programs, you're more than welcome to reach out and let me know. Now, of course, Primetime Live is already running on Jess FM, but again, we are looking that as the viewership grows for Primetime Live, Thursdays at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, we will increase the frequency to more than just a weekly show if the demand is there. Again, the platform's mission is a hub for a diverse group of local media producers through the sharing of ideas and information on the Jess FM and Jess TV network. Of course, I am, as most people know, located in Vancouver, British Columbia. So I remotely do the show from my studios here in Vancouver and to broadcast on the network there in Lethbridge Live. If you are interested in the Primetime Live show and checking it out on streaming TV boxes, you can check it out on Roku TV, Apple TV, Fire TV, and Android TV, to name just a few. If you are looking to check it out on a web browser, you can check it out at jessfm.ca. And you can also check it out at v2.ssh101.com. Yes, that's channel 101 on the SSH. That is a live 24-hour streaming channel. And of course, you can watch movies, all kinds of different things besides just yours truly. Don't forget, of course, that you can check it out on social media, and we have hundreds of thousands of viewers that watch and subscribe to Just TV from around the world on social media platforms, whether it is YouTube or Facebook Live. The live broadcasts and on-demand recordings are accessible on the Jess FM 68 YouTube channel and associated Facebook pages, so check it out and join us for that program. Now, perspectives, of course, we've talked about that, and that's parallel to the other shows that I do. And that is where I continue my role as a Canadian co host of Perspectives on Satellite TV in partnership with Angus Scott in London, in the UK. Now, we look at the various different historical, current, and future stories impacting India, the Sikh diaspora in particular, human rights, and political entertainment, all different stories. So, again, it just really brings in to fill a significant void that mainstream media outlets in Canada, the UK, the US, and other areas maybe do not address as we do. Now, of course, the content is tailored to be highly relevant to our target audience, and therefore it is something that we hope you will enjoy. Once again, Satellite TV is available on YouTube and other platforms as well. Now, when it comes to, of course, the media ventures, we have to look at the underpinning to those, and that is, of course, the strategic sponsorship from Carey Movers Limited. Once again, we are mentioning them because they are Western Canada's top family owned and operated moving company in Vancouver, the Fraser Valley, and, of course, for long distance moves across Western Canada. Now, this is, of course, a textbook example of symbiotic marketing within the new media ecostream. Carey Movers is a trusted brand with over 20 years of service in Western Canada, and it aligns itself with a trusted Western Canadian media personality, and it is reaching a highly targeted and relevant audience through this various platform coverage through here and others. So again, the geographic and demographic alignment is seamless, and we're happy to have Carey Movers on board. So again, you can reach out to them at www.karymovers.com. That's carrymovers.com. And of course, their core value is accountability. So you can trust that they are a reputable and reliable moving company in Western Canada, and they are also very big sponsors of various community events such as the Aldergrove Fair Days, the Food Bank of Surrey, as well as many other charitable and other community-based organizations. Now, the trajectory here is very important for all other media professionals as well. It's balancing a hyper local engagement with a global niche programming. And that is a part of what I'm trying to achieve by working with all of these different platforms and working with these different agencies and so forth. So again, we are here on ProPix TV tonight. And tomorrow night, we will again have another live chat with James episode right after we do the primetime live on gsfm.ca. Tomorrow night, we're actually talking with representatives from the Mountain View Film Office in Alberta. We're going to be talking about the current status of their reputation that is growing to be not only an amazing destination for film and television production, but also how they have created a unique brand and a unique aspect of their what they refer to as a personalized approach to working with film producers and the production companies from around the world, whether it is blockbuster, multi-million or even $100 million production taking place in the region, or to smaller independent, whether it is documentary or just independent films. They are there to work with you in a concierge sort of setup format. So again, if you are looking to film, I would strongly recommend checking out the Mountain View Film Office online and really give it some serious consideration. But check out the show tomorrow night on Jess FM, where we'll get in depth into that region and what they're offering. But also, it will mark the first in a series of 3 episodes that we will be talking to various people from the film and television production industry throughout Canada and the US to find out where things are at right now. We know that Warner Brothers Discovery are both looking at 10% reductions in employees. We are looking at the reductions in the number of episodes on certain series on other networks and other platforms. And of course, just really pulling back on the spending. So we'll take a look at that in that three-part series. See the condition of the Canadian film and television production industry, the US industry, and what the risks are, as well as we can ask and hopefully answer questions from our viewers, as it is a live format. And we will take into account questions that you may want to email to smile@propixcanada.com, PROPICScanada.com, that is. So again, smile, propixcanada.com. If you have any questions about the film, television, and streaming production industries, more than happy to address them. If you are an employee of a different union or of a film production and you have a question, by all means, just you can also leave a voicemail. It's area code 368-997-6741. We can address those questions on the air. If you do not want your name used or your recording aired, you just want to have the question direct to us, by all means, you're welcome to do that as well. Just make sure you specify in that voicemail or the email. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, it is always a pleasure to be here. Always a pleasure to have you join us for this program, as well as all of the others. Now, of course, we also had touched on the various brands here of ProPix Canada. And of course, we have ProPix TV, to name just one, available at youtube.com/@ProPix TV. And of course, ProPix TV is also available on many other platforms and sources, so you can check that out. We also have a Substack for that in order for you to get more behind the scenes footage from all of the different shows that we air on ProPix TV, True Crime and Justice TV.com, and our other programs and news reports. So once again, if you have any questions, comments, or story ideas, don't forget that you can post them here in the comment section or send them directly to us via email, or you can again leave a voicemail via traditional telephone or WhatsApp at area code 368-997-6741. All right, everyone, we appreciate you tuning in. And now we're going to take a look at something a little different and in depth. Now, of course, we know that Donald Trump, just over a year ago, suffered what was described at the time as an assassination attempt. Now, the question is, was that really an attempt on the life of Donald Trump during the campaign, or was it just a big scam and hoax that was perpetrated in order to get his numbers up in the polls and to get the voter support? This is a very big question that really should be answered and should be a major priority for the different law enforcement, for different political organizations, but also in relation to just the fact that that answer needs to be addressed and brought forward to the American people and the world at large. Now, that day, that fateful time where that assassination attempt took place, really galvanized a lot of people, and it also hit home for a lot of people in terms of how valuable a democracy can be if there is targeting of the leader or potential leaders of a nation. It had a big effect on the world. It really brought forward a foundational question mark about the safety of the president or those running for that position when it comes to the availability and the access that the alleged assassin had to get his position in relation to that attempt. Now, let's move on to a couple of the big questions that, of course, loom over that fateful day. First of all, there are a lot of questions about the lack of scarring and lack of any type of marks on Donald Trump when it comes to his alleged grazing by that bullet. We saw the blood. It looked very uniform. It looked like it had been applied by a motion picture or television makeup artist, as opposed to it being real blood from a trajectory of a bullet wound. You would think that that would be, unheard of. But at this point, I think everybody understands that to have a hoax attempted assassination by Donald Trump would not surprise anybody, or by his cronies. Now, we also have to take into account that since that time, we have not heard a whole lot of conversation going on about the attempted assassination, the attempted assassin, or that individual's family. Now, this individual was allegedly taken out at the location, and we'll just say taken out as a polite way, and also because we don't want to have this banned from social media platforms. We want you to get this question out there and really share it, because it is an essential, real question about the 2024 attempted assassination of Trump. Now, again, we hear Trump whining about everything from trying to withdraw the citizenship of Rosie O'Donnell and, talking about different people, whether it's the chairman of the Fed Reserve or otherwise. But at the same time, he doesn't seem to really have any second thought about somebody who allegedly tried to assassinate him. This really makes you wonder if it was a true assassination attempt or not, or if he does not bring it up because he wants the general public and investigation of that event to move forward, to be forgotten, to be just a blip in the annals of history. The question is why? We know that Trump is not one to move on. We know that Trump is not one to let bygones be bygones, especially something that could have been the end of him. So why is it that we haven't heard anything? Why is it that we don't have information about the individual's family? Why is it that there is a suspected cover up here, that this individual who was the alleged assassin may not even actually have been eliminated, that he may just have been relocated, and of course, identity changed, or many other theories that potentially could actually be very relevant and be very true. Again, the whole story is bizarre. It makes no sense when you look back at it now for over a year and just so little information has come out. We at this point know the bra size of Ghislaine Maxwell, and of course that is another situation that Trump wants to deflect attention from, and that is the Epstein files, Ghislaine Maxwell. So again, you would think that if he had any information about an alleged assassin, alleged shooting, about all of this, that he would be also releasing that information to the public to create another distraction and to garner more sympathy for himself. And he has not done that. So why not? Why is this not being used as a distraction, as so many other things are? We know that Trump is just a slimy little douchebag who really cares only about himself and his very close allies and friends. But even then, he only cares about them while he has a use for them, and he'll throw them to the curb as quick as he can if they go against his thoughts, his public policy, or, of course, anything else that could shed a negative light on him. So again, the question is, why is there so little information about this event? Why has Trump been so quiet on it? Why has the FBI, why has Homeland Security, everybody's just been hush on this? And it really makes you wonder why, if they are trying to deflect from the Epstein files, from the, so many things going on with Trump and his grifting, as well as the potential corruption of so many of his appointees. Again, it just really, really strengthens that conspiracy angle to that event, and that should not be overlooked. Now, of course, the security failures. Why have we not heard a lot more about those stunning, stunning failures? And, the Senate report citing a lack of the chain of command and poor coordination. I mean, there's so many different aspects of this that need to come out and be publicly addressed that just haven't been. Now, the details are from this, as well as reports indicating that the Secret Service denied requests to bolster Trump's security prior to the event. These details will be crucial in the hypothetical report to suggest that security was intentionally weakened, lending more weight to the idea of a pre-planned hoax. Again, it is really, really just taking on a silence that is deafening, because again, more people need to start demanding answers to this. And it's not just Americans. I think the entire world deserves the truth on this. It is such a major crime should someone else allege and report an attempted assassination, file false criminal charges to actually have that hoax result in the alleged removal of another person, we'll say, from living. There's just so much. Now, that attempted assassination of a former or sitting president is a seismic event, one that sent shockwaves through a nation's political and social landscape. But again, we're not hearing about it. Now, the alleged shooting of Trump on July the 13th at that campaign rally near Butler, Pennsylvania, again, it's no exception. It was a major event. Yet, in an era defined by profound political polarization and deep-seated institutional distrust, the immediate aftermath of the attack was characterized by parallel phenomenon, the rapid proliferation of misinformation and conspiracy theories across social media. Now, this discussion here, we want to address one of the most persistent of these narratives, and that the hypothetical claim that the assassination attempt was, in fact, a staged hoax orchestrated to generate sympathy and bolster the 2024 presidential campaign. We know that that's not above Trump or beyond his lack, I would say, beyond his thought process, but my goodness, he doesn't seem to have one. But the analysis, it'll proceed not by dismissing the premise, but by subjecting its core tenets to a rigorous evidence-based examination against the vast and detailed public record. So we are going to create a very in-depth report on this coming up, and an episode that'll be dedicated strictly to this. But again, it's just the suspicion of an alleged silence by Donald Trump about the incident, the possibility that the shooter, Thomas Matthew Crooks, is not deceased but has been hidden away and potentially with his family. And again, that is why there needs to be a demand for a full, independent, and impartial investigation into the matter, and each of these claims just methodically tested. The belief in a hoax, of course, is not a fringe anomaly, but a significant measurable feature of the post-attack landscape. A YouGov poll conducted in the week following the shooting found that only 41% of Americans believed Thomas Crooks acted alone. A striking 45% of Republicans believed others were involved in the plot. Another poll found that a third of all Americans agreed with the statement that the assassination attempt was part of a broader plot or conspiracy. This indicates the narrative of a staged event is not a conclusion built from this indicates that the narrative of a staged event is not a conclusion built from a careful review of evidence, but rather an expression of a pre-existing worldview in which major political events are presumed to be manipulated by powerful unseen forces. But again, people more and more, as more time goes by, believe that this was potentially a big hoax perpetrated by the Trump campaign and Donald Trump himself to go forward with creating a sympathetic voter base and to bring in more support for Trump in that election. Now, the worldview, of course, is nurtured by a political environment that experts describe as a tinderbox marked by rising threats of political violence and a collapse of shared factual reality. We're looking at it from both sides of the coin, but again, I really think that there's a lot suspect to that event. Now, the report endeavors to construct a factual counter-narrative built not on the authority of its sources alone, which are often the subject of very distrust that fuels conspiracy theories, but on the overwhelming weight, internal consistency, and convergence of the available evidence. Now, by examining Donald Trump's extensive public statements, the documented life and death of Thomas Matthew Crooks, and the findings of numerous bipartisan investigations that have already occurred, a clear picture emerges. It's a picture not of a meticulously planned conspiracy, but of a chaotic and tragic reality, the true nature of which is arguably more concerning than the fiction of a hoax. But again, this is the narrative that's pushed by Trump and the White House and his administration and supporters. So really, is that the truth, or is that just another fragmented reality that's being pushed as the official narrative by Donald Trump and his supporters? Again, we'll have to look at that in the big report that we are working on. Now, of course, a central pillar of the theory that the assassination attempt was a staged event is the premise that Donald Trump has been conspicuously silent about it. This perceived silence is interpreted as the behavior of an individual with something to hide, an unwillingness to face scrutiny that might unravel a conspiracy. Now, let's also keep in mind, however, that a comprehensive review of the public record reveals the opposite, but I don't believe it because we have seen time and time again how Trump manipulates facts and tries to bury the truth. So again, I don't buy that there's not more to this story than what we already know. And there was just too many different things that have happened. And the lack of addressing the issue by Donald Trump really feeds into my concern that it was a staged event. And if that alleged attempted assassin was actually removed from this world as a result of a staged event, then it's much more than faking an assassination attempt. It's much worse than faking police reports and international reports. But again, if he was actually removed from the world as a result of a hoax and conspiracy, or the hoax itself, then of course I think that needs to be addressed in a very serious manner. I do not believe that the Trump administration or appointees should be anywhere near the investigation. I think it should be completely done by an outside agency, and I would even go as far as to say an international agency to look into it in order to bypass the potential influence of the U.S. government, the threats that may come out of the U.S. government against anyone who is moving forward with a very in-depth and impartial investigation. So I think that needs to take place. And again, we really hear about the evidence of this individual's passing, Mr. Crooks, that is, at the scene is multi-layered and irrefutable. But again, the mind is a funny thing. It can be convinced of facts that weren't actually facts. So we need to really find out the truth here. We'll also take a look at a deeper profile of Mr. Crooks, who was by all academic measures a high achiever. He graduated from high school with honors, earned a 1530 on his SAT, and received a $500 Star Award from the National Math and Science Initiative. So we'll go into more depth about this individual as well. But again, I just think that there is a lot more covered up about the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, and we'll get into that in the next few days in a very in-depth deep dive into that. Once again, folks, you've been watching Live Chat with James, coming to you from the studios here in Vancouver, British Columbia at ProPix TV. Don't forget tomorrow night that you can again join us at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And again, sorry, it is later tonight because we are at almost 1 a.m. Vancouver time. But again, on jessfm.ca, you can join us live tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, where we'll be taking a deep dive in episode 1 of 3 to the North American film and television production industry. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. And again, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to leave your comments below. And again, you can always leave us a voicemail at area code 368-997-6741. And that number is also available via WhatsApp. Take care. Stay safe, everyone.